I'm not planning to get married this year. But I'll marry him someday. Who is he? What made Kim Yoo Jung speak so openly, and so certainly, about her future love life? In a world where celebrities hide their hearts behind silence, Kim Yoo Jung's bold confession has sent shockwaves through the industry. Could this be a subtle confirmation of a secret romance? Let's dive in and uncover the truth, only here. On Red Carpet Revealed. The golden lights of the Sheila Hotel shimmered across the polished floors as dusk fell over Seoul. On the 23rd floor, tucked inside the exclusive Rosewood Lounge, a small group of press members, stylists, and close staff gathered around velvet armchairs and crystal glasses. The event had been advertised as a casual press talk, a warm celebration of Kim Yoo Jung's upcoming drama and her growth as an actress. What unfolded instead was something far more intimate, and far more shocking. The atmosphere was elegant, with soft jazz echoing faintly through the room and fragrant spring blooms perched in tall vases by the window. Kim Yoo Jung entered quietly, no dramatic fanfare, no loud entourage, just her, in a simple ivory silk dress and minimalist pearl earrings. She greeted everyone with grace, bowing slightly before taking her seat near the large, floor-to-ceiling windows that looked out over the city skyline. A few questions passed by uneventfully, discussions of her role in the new series, her reflections on growing up in the spotlight, her favorite comfort foods. She answered with the practiced charm of someone who had lived in the public eye since childhood. But everything shifted with one question. Do you have any plans to get married soon? A hush fell over the room. Not because it was an unusual question, it wasn't, but because of what came next. Kim Yoo Jung took a slow breath, looked out the window for a moment, and then turned back to the reporter. I'm not planning to get married this year, she said, her voice calm. Then, without warning, came the second part. But I'll marry him someday. A sentence that changed everything. It was not a vague musing, nor an offhand comment. The words landed with the kind of weight that could not be brushed aside. I'll marry him someday. She didn't laugh it off, didn't offer clarification. She simply allowed the statement to settle in the room, her eyes calm and unreadable. There was no visible tension on her face, but those who knew how to read her expressions might have noticed something else, a flicker of emotion behind her gaze. A softness that didn't match the otherwise polished delivery of the evening. A few journalists exchanged glances, unsure whether to follow up or let the moment breathe. Before anyone could press further, she adjusted in her seat and smoothly redirected the conversation back to her latest role, as if nothing unusual had been said. But the silence in the room spoke volumes, setting the stage. A moment with deeper meaning. What struck many wasn't just what she said, but where she said it. The Sheila Hotel's Rosewood Lounge is not a typical location for interviews. It's a place known for its discretion, often reserved by high-profile figures seeking privacy. Far from flashing paparazzi, the choice of such an exclusive, almost secretive setting added a subtle theatricality to the evening, like a scene from a romance drama unfolding in real life. As she spoke, the glow of the Seoul skyline bathed her in a warm light. It felt too cinematic to be coincidence. The unseen guest? At the far end of the lounge, near a cluster of decorative ferns, stood a man in a dark navy suit. He remained largely in shadow, speaking briefly to a staff member before stepping toward the private elevator. Only a few noticed him. No introduction, no camera pointed in his direction. But Kim Yoo Jung did glance in his direction, briefly, silently, and with something in her expression that was impossible to misread. If he was him. She never said it. She didn't need to. A private life. Hinted but never confirmed. Kim Yoo Jung has always been careful about her personal life. Since her early debut as a child actress, she's maintained an image of dignity and restraint, rarely allowing the public a glimpse behind the curtain. In a world obsessed with overexposure, her silence often spoke louder than words. So when she finally said something so personal, so direct, yet so intentionally incomplete, it raised more questions than answers. After a beat, as if unable to hold it in, Kim Yoo Jung continued, her tone soft, almost dreamlike. I still remember that day. We were filming a rain scene. It was freezing. I couldn't stop shaking between takes. And he just quietly came over and placed his coat around my shoulders. He didn't say anything, just walked away. The room was silent, not from awkwardness, but reverence. The kind of stillness that happens when someone has just said something deeply personal. Undeniably sincere. Her words were not part of a script. Not rehearsed. Not calculated. They were a memory. A true one. Rewinding the clock. Love in the Moonlight, 2016. For those who followed Kim Yoo Jung's career closely, the moment she recalled wasn't just a poetic anecdote. It was a real moment, captured quietly, almost accidentally, behind the scenes of the 2016 drama Love in the Moonlight. At the time, she was only 17, and her co-star, Park Bo-gum, was 23. Their on-screen chemistry became the subject of intense admiration. But what happened off-camera often remained wrapped in mystery. Still, fans who dug deep into behind-the-scenes footage might remember that very rain scene. Yoo Jung, soaked and shivering, had been captured in a blurred video clip with a male figure, Bo-gum, unmistakably placing a coat on her shoulders before walking away. Without a word, it was a gesture that passed in seconds. But for her, it clearly lasted much longer. A confession hidden in memory. Back in the lounge, her manager shifted uncomfortably, but Kim Yoo Jung appeared unconcerned. Her gaze remained distant, as if she was still standing in that rain, still feeling the weight of that coat, still warmed by a silent kindness. She didn't mention his name. She didn't have to. You know, she added, as if musing aloud. Sometimes, the smallest actions reveal the deepest parts of a person. Her words hung in the air like fogged breath in cold air. The mystery deepens. No name was confirmed, no relationship status declared, but something had undeniably been shared. Kim Yoo Jung, known for guarding her private life with careful precision, had allowed the public a glimpse behind the curtain. And that glimpse hinted at more than just admiration, it hinted at affection that had lingered, grown, and perhaps deepened into something more. The interviewer, visibly caught off guard, attempted to steer the conversation elsewhere. But the atmosphere had changed. This was no longer a discussion about upcoming scripts or character arcs. It was a moment of truth. The final glance. As the event came to an end, Kim Yoo Jung stood gracefully, offering a soft thank you and a bow. But just before disappearing behind the heavy velvet curtains, she looked once, just once, toward the far corner of the room. There, standing half in shadow, was a tall man in a tailored black suit. No introductions, no words exchanged, but the smile she gave him said enough. A quiet promise. I'm not planning to get married this year, she had said, but the way she held that memory, like a treasure she refused to let go of, suggested that her heart may have already chosen. In a world where grand gestures make headlines, sometimes it's the quiet coat in the rain, the unsaid words, the enduring memory, that reveals everything. Because love, like rain, doesn't always come with thunder. Sometimes, it falls softly, changing everything without a sound. And perhaps, just perhaps, she's still standing in that rain, waiting for the right time, waiting for him.